I'll never forget this. Playing hockey as a kid in Minot, North Dakota, and I'm out on the ice, and all I hear is "Pass the puck to Josh! Pass it to Josh! Pass the puck to Josh!" And but when I get back onto into the under the bench, one of the players is like, "Would you please tell your dad to shut the hell up?"
Hello and welcome to a very special edition of the Movie Podcast. My name is Daniel, and I am one of your hosts today. And joining alongside me is my teammate Anthony. Hello, Anthony.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Just excited to talk about Mighty Ducks. I got my jersey all set up. I got my LA Kings.
Yeah. LA Kings. I got my Toronto Maple Leafs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I'm just preparing myself for the disappointment. You know, that's all I can do.
Definitely. I feel like the Leafs will probably be the most disappointing team this year.
Oh, that makes me so happy. That is a great way to start off this episode. The hockey season is starting, and that's why I'm so glad that, the Mighty Ducks Game Changers is starting in line with the start of a new hockey season. That's why I also shaved, because I wanted to go clean. I wanted to go babyface into this new season of hockey.
I don't trust you anymore. Like, your face right now is just untrustworthy. When I saw you when we started this before we started the recording, I saw your face. I'm like, man, Daniel's so young. I'm like, I can't shave my face because I'll look like a baby too. But I'm enjoying it. This is your fall look. Hopefully by the end of the year, you'll have like one of those hockey beards, like Joe Thornton beards.
Oh yeah, Papa Joe Thornton for sure. No, this is the thing. My beard was very scruffy, and you'll know from watching previous review episodes or any episodes of the Movie Podcast, it was getting quite full. And I'm like, you know what? Let me go clean for just a week because it'll be back in a couple days. But I'm kind of rocking the 5 o'clock shadow right now, and it looks like I'm either a kid, or I am just a kid with a beard right now. That's what I feel like. And my family and friends who I've shown have all kind of reacted like you, where you're just like, what happened? What'd you do? So
you do.
It's a new look for me.
You kind of remind me of a coach, like a coach on the bench. You get that look going right now for you.
Yeah. I think that's the thing, for a couple years with the Leafs too. I just always remember when, this is very specific to Canada and Toronto, but like Mike Babcock didn't like the team having facial hair. So the Leafs were all very like clean cuts, no beards, no mustaches. And now if you look at the Leafs now, Austin Matthews has like that dirty stash going on. And it's that's
such
hockey,
a weird
it's part of,
thing. Like,
what
is
there's
this?
Such weird like military-esque like
no, I'm the only one with a beard. You can't have a beard.
There's such weird just like things set in place that's very kind of reminds me of like the military. Not that I've ever been in the military, but just from the movies that I've seen, it's like no beards. You got to come dressed in your uniform, or you got to dress in a tux. And I'm like, why are they coming in suits to practice?
Never understood.
It's a very strange thing. But I also
the Mighty Ducks never showed up in suits, right? And that's why they
didn't even show up in uniforms. I'll be honest with you. They
100%.
for the first little bit of this show and for the films, they didn't even have proper equipment. So that's just the nature of the game, Today on the Movie Podcast, we're so excited to welcome some incredible special guests. We spoke about this show a lot. Oh my gosh, last year now. It just feels like time is very, very strange nowadays. But the Mighty Ducks Game Changers was such a fun show that really embodied, I think, the spirit of what made the film so special. So today on the Movie Podcast, we're so excited to welcome the stars of the show, Lauren Graham and Josh Duhamel, to the Movie Podcast. That's amazing. Anthony, how are you feeling right now? We have Josh Duhamel. I know you're a huge Las Vegas fan.
Yeah, man.
Which we got to tell Josh.
We got to tell him. He was. I thought he would be more happier about it, but I don't know if it was something that he didn't want people to remember from his past. But yeah, I grew up on Las Vegas on NBC. It was one of those shows that you just put on after like CSI, or it would happen either before or after. But it had James Caan in it and all these famous, well, not famous, but like people who were part of that
recognizable
era,
people, right?
Yeah. And then Transformers and everything else after that. It's just surreal to be able to chat with him. And he was such he's a sports enthusiast. So there's a lot that we learned about him, and being from where is he from? He's from, I want to say, like, not north, like the north part of the United States, not from the south. So he did play
He's from North Dakota.
Oh, okay, North Dakota.
Yeah, there you
So he
go.
did play
The North States. Yeah,
a lot of hockey. So I was just excited
Yeah.
that, you know, there was someone in a role where they actually played the game instead of like
yeah,
someone who didn't. You know, I don't think
Yeah.
Emilio Estevez ever played hockey, but then that's me just guessing. But like, you know, growing up in California, that wasn't part of the California tradition. But I feel like in North Dakota, it gets cold. You play hockey on the ice. You know, it's just part of that world. And the United States have right now, the states have been like huge with hockey. Their teams are
Yeah.
flawless with hockey players. Not as good as Canada, but I'm just saying.
I mean, but hey, listen, you know, our star, from we're talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs right now, our star player, Austin Matthews,
New Mexico.
he is New Mexico, yeah.
Yeah,
So
strange place.
he is not a Canadian player, which is interesting to see. Because again, when you're like, Canadians take hockey very seriously. We're very proud about hockey. So there's always, I think, it's an interesting stigma, like when you're like, oh, they're Canadian and they play hockey and like they're our star player. So when you have an American on our team, it's always like that. Hold on a second. But again, Austin Matthews, our Lord and Savior, he's going to bring us to a cup one day. I'm telling the more I say it, the more I'm going to believe it. And, you know, as the summer season starts, and I'm not thinking about hockey because I haven't seen the Leafs play past May in forever and a half. I forget about it, hockey. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not going to subscribe to Sportsnet or TSN here. And then there's a preseason game happening this weekend, and I'm just like, maybe I will. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. I'm not going to make any decisions today, but I just want to remind you, as always, there are so many new episodes of the Movie Podcast out right now that you could listen to. We've been really lucky to have some incredible special guests join us on the show, including people like Brendan Fraser, Samuel D. Hunter of The Whale. We had Ewan McGregor and Ethan Hawke join us on the show to talk about Raymond and Ray. And we have a lot of reviews out right now from TIFF. We have our Star Wars Andor review out. Don't worry, darling. You know, our Andor interviews as well, too. So there's lots happening. And I do want to remind you of our Avatar interviews that are also out right now. We've been really lucky to work with Disney Studios Canada on a lot of these great opportunities, including the one we're talking about today. So huge thank you for them for making this happen for us. Like you, Anthony, you know, Josh Duhamel and Lauren Graham are huge parts of, you know, the shows and films that we've watched over the last 20 years. Lauren Graham, obviously, with Gilmore Girls, being a huge one in my house, and it's always very surreal for us to have these opportunities, and it's one of those things. We've been lucky to have a lot of opportunities, but no matter who we're talking to, it's always that thing of, this is happening, this is so damn cool, and we're so grateful to be here and to be doing this. And for you watching this right now, be it on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, wherever you're listening to us, thank you. Your support means the world to us. If this is the first time you're listening to the Movie Podcast or watching it, please check us out on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Letterboxd at The Movie Podcast. We also have a Discord up. We're having some great conversations going on in there as well, too. You know, the episodes of the show may end, but the conversation doesn't have to stop. So please go check it out. And like we said, the show we're talking about today is the Mighty Ducks Game Changers Season 2. You know, the team is back. They're going to a summer camp for a hockey institute in the summer. And it's such a funny thing to me. And again, seeing hockey played in California, I know, Anthony, you're wearing an LA Kings jersey. Hockey in California, the best hockey is played in the West Coast right now. You know, when we're seeing what's going on in the West Coast, San Jose, LA Kings, all these incredible teams, it's all like these West Coast teams are having a ball. They're just doing incredible things. So it's so cool to see, you know, the Ducks being, you know, out there again, and very reminiscent of
Mighty Ducks
season.
2.
Oh, sorry, Mighty Ducks 2.
Yeah.
You know, when they're in California, it's a lot of fun.
I think,
and yeah, Lauren Graham and Josh Duhamel are great in this.
I think hockey in California just works because it's like, you could play hockey on the ice for sure, but then you can do rollerblade and you can do street hockey, and it's like year round, and you could play. Like, I know people, like, I used to play in the tennis courts during the winter time when there was no more tennis nets, and we would put up the
you bring the street hockey nets,
exactly.
You bring your equipment,
we bring the hockey, and then we wouldn't worry about the ball going, like, you know, 50 miles down the road.
Yeah,
but like,
it's the worst.
It just feels cool to play hockey in California.
Oh yeah.
Rather than playing it here when it's like friggin' minus 30. And your dad built a rink in the backyard because he grew up on. Like it's just that's the that's the trend now. So it's I would rather play hockey in California just because
I'd rather be warm while playing hockey
100%.
for sure. I don't want to be cold. And then again, we're from Toronto, so I get that's part of it, but that's the nature of the beast. Listen, we're Toronto Maple Leaf fans. There's something wrong with us that we keep supporting this team, but we keep doing it anyway. But the Mighty Ducks Game Changers Season 2, it's going to be releasing on Disney Plus on September 28th. 2022. That is this year. That is this week. You'll be able to watch it. Anthony, you also brought up something really cool that Lauren Graham and Josh Duhamel also directed an episode this season too, right?
Yeah, they both directed that. I think Lauren Graham's first directorial debut, I think, is episode 4, Draft Day, which was really cool. And then Josh Duhamel being able to direct, I think this is his second directorial debut for a show. So yeah, it's fun to have actors, put their passion into the directing side. Because, like actors and actresses, we always see them in the light of, hey, I'm here to do this show. I'm here for this amount of time and then I'm gone. But like when you see these people who actually put in the effort to, I want to direct an episode as well. Yeah. It just shows like how much commitment they have for that show or for that movie. It's nice to see. And it's also different take than what we would normally get from a normal director, which is cool.
It's true. And, and Josh Duhamel also directed a film a couple years ago called Buddy Games, which is very sports focused as well, too. So it makes sense that he'll transition to this, and being a huge hockey fan, it's awesome. Again, thank you so much for Josh and Lauren for taking the time to hang out with us. Let's get right to it. Welcome, Josh and Lauren, to the Movie Podcast. Lauren, Josh, my name is Daniel.
And I'm Anthony.
How are you guys doing today?
Can we call you D'Anthony?
D'Anthony, you could totally call us D'Anthony.
Yes.
Thank you both so much for sharing your time with us today on the Movie Podcast. We're such big fans of yours, so this is an honor. Lauren, obviously, Gilmore Girls is huge for us, but Anthony's a huge Las Vegas fan, Josh.
Huge,
so we had to let you know.
Thank you.
Josh, Coach Cole can be pretty intense and always wanting the best for his players, and you give a very inspiring speech in the first episode. I'm curious, did you look to any other great coaches in sports or even movie history for inspiration for the role?
Yeah. I'm a big fan of sports movies, from Hoosiers to, I don't know, Friday Night Lights to all of them. I'm a huge, huge fan of this kind of stuff. And I played a lot of sports growing up. So I think that I did take from some of my old coaches, mostly the good and the bad, because this guy is way more intense than I think he needs to be. But that was kind of what was fun, is this guy who pushes these kids to a point that he thinks they want to go. But I think the bigger question is this what they really want? And I think that that's what the Mighty Ducks sort of revealed to me throughout the season, is that it isn't all about hockey. There are other things that are important. But these guys are pretty stubborn when it comes to, what they believe.
Yeah, definitely. And I think what holds so true in the show so far is that it carries that lightheartedness, like from the films as well too, and also just the Ducks will always kind of do their own way. They'll always find their own way to kind of come out at the end, right?
Yeah, that's the truth. Whether it's the I don't know, Lauren can speak to that. It was for me, it was really fun to see how smart the writing actually was. To be honest, I did this show because I got to be in LA and I got to be by my son. That was the main reason I did it. I love the show, The Mighty Ducks. I love the movies, but for me, it was like, oh God, I guess I get to be home for a little bit. One of the most pleasant surprises about this whole situation was that I really, really loved this job, and I really grew to love these kids, and Lauren was fantastic, and the writing was so good, and I'm proud of it. I'm really proud of the way the show turned out.
I love that.
Very cool. Lauren, you played the complete opposite of Coach Cole. Alex very much focuses on fun and personalities, which is very different from the traditional hockey parent. In real life, are you more Alex, or are you fighting with the parents, the refs, and the players on the other team?
You dropping the gloves, you throwing popcorn.
No, I always joke to my dad about this show. I'm like, it's hard to draw on anything because you would just like take me to soccer and then like drop me off and then like come pick me up. Like there was none of this like screaming from the sidelines. And I don't know if that was just kind of a generational thing. Also, I was a horseback rider, competitive horseback rider. My father's allergic to horses. So that was another sport where he'd just be like, bye, good luck, works out. So no, I definitely don't understand the intensity from the parents. So that was an easy note to play, because I'm like, do you all not realize, none of you, I mean, this is in the show, like, will probably end up being professional athletes. Like, the whole point here is to get, be part of a team and go on a fun bus ride and, like, enjoy yourself. And there's so much pressure in the world anyway. Like, can't we all just get along and enjoy our, our sports? So yeah, that's definitely more me. I have never thrown a glove.
My dad, by the way, I drew a lot of what I did from my dad. Was this guy. My dad was so intense. He played sports in college and he was all about it. And I remember, I'll never forget this, playing hockey as a kid in Minot, North Dakota. And I'm out on the ice and all I hear is, pass the puck to Josh, pass it to Josh, pass the puck to Josh. But when I get back into the under the bench, one of the players is like, would you please tell your dad to shut the hell up? Because the other guys didn't want to hear it. And it was one of the most embarrassing things, because my dad was one of those guys at the time who was just screaming from the audience. I couldn't have him removed, or,
that was your ride home, that was your ride home. Really quickly before we wrap up, I wish we could talk to you guys a bit longer, but we got to know, who's your favorite hockey player? Bonus points if they're Canadian, and not Wayne Gretzky, please. Just to throw you on the spot.
I'm going to say Trevor Zegras.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, I got to work with him a little bit in the episode that I directed this year, and the dude is just such a talent, like a rare talent, and a super cool. He's 20 or 21 years old. He's still a kid, and like one of the most talented players to come out in a long time. So I'd say him.
I'll just give a general shout out to Canada, which was every single crew member was on skates because the first season was in Canada, and like they all grew up playing hockey and everyone was good at it. It was ridiculous. And Dylan Playfair, who's in our first season, who's a great comedian and great fun actor, like it was I just couldn't believe it. There was nobody who didn't know how to skate well except me. So Canada.
It's true. Yeah, it's part of growing up here. You have to learn how to play hockey and be on skates.
Yeah.
Thank you both so much for your time again. We're having such a great time with this show, and we're so excited for everyone to check out season 2 very soon. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Take care, guys. And welcome back, Anthony. How was that for you? That was a lot of fun for me.
A lot of fun. Cool. I didn't expect Josh to straight out of the conversation, D'Anthony, like. Sure.
D'Anthony.
You can call me Mary. You can call me Jojo, the tire man. I'll take whatever that's from Bad Boys.
Okay. The guy was like, Jojo, the tire man.
Yeah, so you can call me whatever you want, man. I'll take it. You're Josh Duhamel. You have really great skin. No matter what camera. Like, I'm looking at the camera, and it's, these recordings are done probably off of phones or computer screens and computer cams, webcams, but I'm like, man, your skin looks so good.
Yeah,
you're a
he was radiant.
dude.
So was Lauren as well.
And so was Lauren too. She looked like she was just captured in a floral background that was really like it just her eyes from that interview. I really noticed her blue piercing eyes.
Yeah,
really cool.
There's a reason why I'm like, they're reason why they're just still they're Hollywood actors. They have to have this aura to them, right? Yeah. But it's a lot of fun. I think I like that we got to talk to them as Canadians and as like hockey fans, because I think it brought in a kind of different flavor to the interview, and it was really cool seeing Josh talk about his experience growing up, and his dad being in the stands and being that kind of like very vocal hockey parent, where Lauren was just like, no, I'm not like that at all. I'm just a lot more chill, and it's cool seeing that because that's their dynamic in the show as well too. So it's cool seeing how it very much kind of is reminiscent of who they are in real life, which is awesome.
Yeah, and I think their characters play off each other really well, especially with Josh's character being that, heavy-handed coach who wants the best out of everything, while
demanding excellence.
While Lauren's character is very like, let's have fun, and from fun we will win. But there's a dynamic between the two that I think by the end of the season will mesh to create like a fantastic hockey team. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the season, because again, this does remind me of Mighty Ducks 2, which I think is the best of all the Mighty Ducks. Some say Mighty Ducks 3.
100%.
I don't see it. I will never see Mighty Ducks 3 being the greatest Mighty Ducks of the franchise, but Mighty Ducks
Interesting.
2 is
Okay.
fantastic. And it was always strange because whenever I watch it, I'm like, why isn't Canada in this
Yeah.
championship? It's like they boycotted us, but it seems
They
like,
did, yeah.
Seems like we're the enemy in this season, which is pretty cool.
It is. It does seem like we are the villains in a Mighty Ducks property finally, because who else would be a villain to the United States in hockey than Canada? So just letting you know, Ducks, we're coming for you. It's hunting season, and Canada's on the prowl. Thank you again to Josh Duhamel and Lauren Graham for joining us on the Movie Podcast today. As always, we have so many incredible episodes ready for you to listen and to watch. Please check them all out on wherever you support us, YouTube, podcast services, TheMoviePodcast.ca. There's lots of places to check out our show. We have a lot of exciting things planned for October. We're heading into spooky season, and there's lots going on, so you don't want to miss any of it. Please make sure you're following us at The Movie Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Letterboxd. Right into the show at hello@TheMoviePodcast.ca and join our Discord. We're having some great conversations going on in there, and we want to hear from you. The biggest thing that we do here in the Movie Podcast is have conversations, and we want you to be part of it. We want to have a great community of movie and show and entertainment lovers, so please join us on Discord. We're having a great time in there. That was this time with The Movie Podcast, and we'll see you next.